Welcome back to the Average Jacks podcast. Happy New Year. I know it's been a while, but we are back in full swing for 2026. And today I'm joined with the brilliant and brutal at times, Matt Sheperd. Matt, how is it going, Matt?
Not bad, mate. Not
Welcome
too bad.
to the podcast.
I know, it's a majestic environment.
Yeah. I know it's not exactly what you was anticipating, but thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me. The reason I wanted you on is because, being transparent with you, like the first time I ever come across you was on your social media. I never actually met you before. And in today's society, social media is very chalk and cheese in it. And sort of seeing what you was doing and what you was saying, I was like, oh, what's this guy about? Like, can you always take it for face value? And then we started going to the same gym, and then I knew our mutual friend Ryan, and he talked about it. And the more I seen you and more what you was doing, I was like, I need to speak to this guy, because this guy does gangster shit and absolutely locks in to a level. Yeah. So this might be a bit of a deep question to start with, but I think it's probably the best place to go is, what does discipline mean to you?
I think it's just... discipline and commitment to me are two things that go hand in hand, in the sense that they are doing what you need to do regardless of whether or not you want to do it. But I think there's a caveat that a lot of people miss, because you will find, especially on social media, you'll get a lot of people who will beat that drum till it's raw, and they'll say, gotta get up and grind, gotta do this, gotta do that. And unless it's in alignment with a goal that you've got, I think it's a load of bullshit. So discipline to me would be, come up with a goal, find all the nitty-gritty tasks that you know are going to move the needle that you don't want to do, and then do those consistently, whether you're tired, sad, happy, annoyed, don't feel like it, or feel motivated like it. Just tick the box.
Yeah, 100%. And watching your YouTube, we was actually talking about it before. I don't always have the privilege of being able to scope someone out as in depth as I did with you, but it's very clear to see that you are process driven, sort of orientated by the tick box, the goal, and how to do it. Is that something that's always been prominent in your life?
Do you know, I think so, but I only realised this. Me and my missus Beck went to the Cotswolds for over New Year's, and she tried to teach me how to ballroom dance. And I broke it down into numbers. I was like, straight away, oh, right, so it's left, right, so it's 1, 2, 3. And she looked at me and laughed, and she was like, everything you do is an equation. Yeah. It's result, process, steps, actionables, movement. And I never clocked it like I do everything like that. Everything. From whether it's scheduling a day to coming up with a goal, I'll go, right, what's the pros and cons? What do my genetics align best with? What aligns best with passions? So I think without realising, but it's never been like a conscious thought of like, everything has to be done a certain way.
And you mentioned passion though, and it segues nicely into one of the questions that I had. Fitness is, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I imagine it's the main focal point of what you do every day. It's sort of your life is centred around that journey of you being the fittest you can be and the best you can be. Has fitness always been a passion, or is it something that you found later on in life?
No. Fitness for me... Right, we're going to get deep early. We're going to have to just roll it. Fitness for me is constantly running away from like a permanent feeling of not being good enough, or not feeling value, or not feeling like you are deserving of praise or whatever else. And that gives me a methodology to kind of like, if I do more of this, I know that there's an objective outcome that will be the result of it. So like, for example, when I was younger, in terms of like getting into fitness, my dad was like, I was convinced, I used to tell the lads in school that my dad was Batman. Yeah. Because he was working on the door, so he was going out of an evening, but in the summer holidays, he would get me up, go to the gym, and I'd kick the heavy bag whilst he worked out. And that was a constant, in the sense that when everything else is falling apart, that stays the same. And then I did the same thing every kid does, turn to the Xbox, a little bit of Assassin's Creed and just got fat, got bullied, and there were certain things that were like going on with family life and whatever other dramas that meant that there was a constant feeling of like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve praise, I'm not valued enough to have praise. However, when I train and I lose weight, people say, you look good.
Yeah.
And it became an avenue to like express that like constant, not insecurity, but inadequacy.
Provides that validation
Yeah.
that you've been looking for.
And then for me, it was like, well, I can operationalize that.
Yeah.
When I feel this way, I do this. I do more of that, I feel less of that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kept moving the goalpost, and a decade later, we run mountains for shits and gigs.
Yeah, backyard ultras and shit like that, which we'll definitely get into. But I love to hear that, because again, like, before knowing you and only seeing the social media, you don't see them trinkets and them insights. And again, it's not that social media is diluted, definitely.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But like, this is a reason I wanted you on. I wanted to like to see and like understand why that is, and the journey of what got you to here today. So you said it wasn't always a part of your life, but was there a trigger point in your later years where it's like, this is it? Was there a moment, or was it just like you said, compounding?
No, I completely fell out of love with training. Got fat, got lazy, got to a point where I was drinking whiskey in my bedroom, watching telly, because I was just like, I say this sparingly. I've never actively felt depressed. Like, I've never been like, I'm a depressed individual. Yeah. However, I've looked at times of my life in hindsight and gone, I absolutely was. Yeah. But just refused to accept it, and was like, if I don't believe in this feeling, it doesn't exist. So if I just keep doing the right things. But there was a point in, I think it was, I want to say the 12th of September 2022, 23, one of them, around that time. And I had not long moved into accounting, and I'd worked like a slave on this apprenticeship that I was doing. I was determined to like put in a good stint. And I was in a dysfunctional relationship that was just a bit naff, to be honest. Long term, but just naff. And on this day, I walk in, and it's the day of my pay review, and they go, "Don't need you anymore."
Fuck.
And I'm like, "Why? What reason?" They're like, "We just don't.
We don't need one.
We just don't need one." Yeah. And I was like, "Right, so where do I go from here then?" And they were like, "Oh, it's not a problem really, mate." And I was like, enough's enough. I am not doing this, me. So I sat in the car, rang 52 or 50 odd different accountancy firms in the Northwest, and was like, I'm not getting out of this car until I've got an interview lined up. Yeah. Got 2 interviews and went straight to Vault 1.0, so went to the gym. I was getting changed, and I was just standing there looking at myself in the mirror in the old gym, and I was like, what sack of shit you've become, from like someone who's clearly athletic to just a shell of just complacency. And I just thought, nah, never again. Not a chance will I ever look at myself with such disgust again. And then here we are. Like, just from that, literally just as I'm one of those people, I don't struggle to dissociate. So when I say never again, it's not like a never again for now. It's like, no. It's
not a throwaway comment.
Yeah, it's like the line has been drawn in the sand, and that's that.
You mentioned though about, you've never, not like you've not accepted it, because clearly you've reflected on it, and like you said, at this time I was in this position, and like you look back and you're like, I was depressed, I was in this state of where I was. Just through talking to you and knowing, you probably are your biggest critic, I imagine, and that, like, I think anyone who's driven and has that ambition, it's very easy to almost be too hard on yourself. Is that something you've had to work with since that point, to like not go too far into like thrashing yourself and being like, you are a piece of shit? Or is that something that you can just use as fuel? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've worded that right.
So my biggest fuel at the minute is hate. I think, like, whether that be self-hatred or hatred of a situation, that to me is jet fuel. But I'm fully aware that there's a termination point on that. Yeah. There's like, you use that for escape velocity, and then once you've built the necessary momentum, something has to change. You can't just be a miserable bastard forever. And that's not to say that I am, but it's from a point of I'm very aware that, like, people go, oh, but you've come so far. I'm like, no, I haven't. Yeah. No, I haven't. Oh yeah, like, I ran really far. Cool. But if I went up and spoke to a millionaire and I was like, yeah, mate, ran 100 miles, he'd go, well, why are you wasting your time doing that?
Yeah,
Why don't you do this? So there's other boxes and other avenues of life that need to be ticked. So I don't find issue in thrashing myself. Like, yeah, thrash yourself as long as it's functional.
Yeah.
Like if you say, you could have done more today, and but I'm tired. Oh, so
Yeah.
like, oh well, I was meant to do that today, but I didn't have time.
Yeah.
What time did you go to bed? What time did you get up? Was the leeway in that? Right, so you slept in. So you did have time. You just didn't use it. Like, there's so many things. But also, caveat to that is, I would never expect someone else to have the standards on themselves that I have on myself.
Yeah.
But that's just the way the game is.
Yeah.
Like, one of my big, I struggle to be soft. Like, I struggle to be like, oh, because I'm like,
You won't give yourself that inch.
yeah.
Do you think you'd take it? Is that why? Do you think you'd take the inch if you give it?
I know I have done, and I know how it made me feel.
Yeah.
And I also know that it was a choice.
Yeah.
So when I hear people, and I hear a lot, and I've done it, that's like, this is not to, take responsibility away from myself there, but I've been the guy who's like, I can do it tomorrow. Or, hell, do I really want to do that anyway? Who's asked? You said you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I really, or like, I'm going to diet. No, you're not. No, you're not. I've not had a chocolate bar for 14 days. Why are you counting?
Yeah.
Like, I can't. It just doesn't. That's why Ryan calls me the Scouse David Goggins.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the, like, it's okay, mate.
Do you think it can be a detriment sometimes to certain things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Living with a female athlete.
Yeah.
Who is a savage in her own right. But then me be trying to switch off and not be like,
Yeah.
let's go. Do you know what I mean? Because I know she can. But obviously, you've got to. Everyone needs a different approach. So it definitely has its issues. It definitely has its issues. But for me, it works intrinsically.
And that dynamic of like seeing, obviously you miss on social media and like seeing you train together in the gym. How important is that competitiveness and that standard-driven sort of household that you clearly have? Like when you watch your YouTube and you see in the background and that, like, if one of you's working, one of you's in the kitchen, if one of you's doing this, one of you's doing that, that pendulum of sort of give and take, how important is that?
Massively. I couldn't do any of the shit I do if it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
100%. When we got together, I'd just gone into like a big prep. And I basically had to say to her, I know we've been seeing each other for 2 weeks, but I've got a fight in 8 weeks. So I'm not going out. I'm not eating out. But I've not really got time to spend all the days under the sun with you. Like, and she just went, okay.
Yeah. That acceptance of...
And straight away she went, okay, sound. And at the time, she wasn't doing any of the stuff she was doing now. She manifested into this is because she said to me, do you think I could run a half marathon? And I said, book it now, right now, because, And she was like, oh, I don't think I can. I was like, right, you need to book it. But everything, like, it's crucial. That, like, give and take and just the support is...
Because I think a lot of people probably look at you and think you're this lone wolf, that you do a lot of it, step by step on your own, which you do, don't get me wrong. Like, watching you train, a lot of what you do is just you on the treadmill, on the road, like the backyard ultra, which we'll get into. That's you in your own head. But like when you watch your YouTube and stuff like that, you're out with like the Alpine Birds, you've got like community aspect, you've got your training partners, you've got your missus. Like, something that I always realised doing this is having that support system is vital. Yeah,
it's like you can go faster alone but further together.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that once and being like, it's bullshit, mate. It's bullshit. Give me 2 fellas and a boat and I'll take an island.
Yeah.
And it's like, now as I'm going on, it's like, I can do a lot of stuff on my own and I can muscle through it. Like last year, I'd drive up to Rivington Pike, if you're not from around here, on a Saturday morning at 5:30 on my own and run 50k in 5-10k loops, up the top, back down, up the top, back down, in the pissing down rain, whilst Ryan was in bed with his kids, Beck was going for coffee with her dad, and I can do that, and I'm cool with that. However, at the point of burnout, which anyone says burnout doesn't exist, isn't training hard enough, or isn't working hard enough, or isn't pushing hard enough. And if you tell me otherwise, you chat shit. If you then just break that up and say, right, I've just done 8-week prep on my own, but today me and Jack are going to go for a session, that will give you enough of a mental deload that you can push for another 6.
Yeah.
So if you can slot that into 1 session a week, like for me, the Bears run, it's 5k once a week, where I don't need to think about anything about that session.
No pressure.
And that's my time with the lads.
Yeah.
And then I'm happy to go and do the other 9 sessions that week solo. Sound.
This transition that you've gone through, you know, sort of on and off through your life, but since you said you had that moment of clarity in the mirror, that fuck it, like you burn the paper, you go again. How much of your old life has stayed with you? You know, like friends, family, like have you realised who were them people that you were like your day ones?
So this is on the point of being a lone wolf. I don't really have friends. I have a handful of like people that if they rang me at 2 in the morning, I'd be like, sound.
Yeah.
When I say a handful, I mean probably 4. I've got Ryan.
Yeah.
A lad who I've known since year 2. Mate Lewis. And outside of that, that's it. And it's very much because I struggle with the fact that the more things I do, the more I work, the more ambitious I become, whether that be in career, whether that be in business, whether that be in fitness, whatever it may be. The more I see people go, he's an arsehole anyway. Never liked him in the first place. He's an arrogant prick. And I'm like, and?
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not, I'm not Love Island arrogant.
No.
But also, if you say to me, we're getting on this treadmill, you're getting off first.
Yeah.
And if you say, right, we're both starting from scratch and we need to learn the skill, I'm saying, I'm learning that for you.
Yeah.
And that's difficult for a lot of people to like stick with.
It's sharp, innit?
Yeah.
I think I like, I'm not a bullshitter and I'd like to admit that I'm not, your message is direct and it's sharp. And like, that was probably when I first seen you, I was like, oh. But because you can't always be like, oh, you can't take social media for granted. No. So like, this is why for me, like, this is class for actually why it happens, because now it makes sense. Yeah. But sometimes you see it and you're like, yeah, but you're going home and you're not actually doing what, not you, but like other people, you're going home and you're not doing what you're saying you're doing. But like, I hate that. Our message, the more I've watched you and sort of seen what you do, I think it's quite similar, but it's just said in a different tone. Mine's a lot fluffier and a lot softer. But yours is just sharp, you know what I mean? And some people don't like sharp.
Do you know what I think? I've somewhat created that deliberately.
Yeah, like a persona?
No, not just. I say what I mean what I say, and people don't like it.
Yeah.
And the reason being is that if you stand for, this is another thing I've heard, if you stand for everything, you stand for nothing. Yeah. And I think there's, like, my line is very strict in the sand. And again, we all have like random bullshit experiences that have like have directed us in a certain way. So we react to things a certain way, and we think a certain way. And when you've had people that were meant to care, or a person that was meant to, their purpose on this planet was to care for this thing that they've built and made, and they go, nah. Yeah. Nah. You immediately then go, right, okay, well, if I can deal with that, why do I need to small talk? Yeah. Why would I message you and go, how's your day, Jack? Yeah. Not asked. What are you going to say? I went to work. Yeah, so did I. Like, I find that really difficult because people want to be liked by everyone, but someone's going to think you're like, someone's going to dislike you for no reason other than because they do. Yeah. Why don't they like me? Well, because they don't. So why fake it? So I find on social media, when people are soft and gentle, and that to me is fake. Yeah. So I won't do it. So like the persona that people see on social media potentially, well, that's just me.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why is he like that? Because I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's just you being true to your
That's why I have
authentic self.
800 followers, not 80,000.
Yeah. No, and I get it, and like, it makes sense. And it's just, this is, for me, why it's so interesting doing this. It's because we're just all wired so fucking differently.
Yeah.
And like, it's mad to sit across from you and completely understand what you're saying and understand where you're coming from and get it, but say it in a completely different way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that to me is just why I do this. And it makes sense now speaking to you and seeing you and like having these conversations and watching your YouTube. So process driven, ones and twos, like there's no grey, is there, with you? And you mentioned before about, you know, work, relationships, but also you go up River and run 50k on a Saturday morning. How do you balance your everyday life with your goals?
With great difficulty. I'll be honest, I'm not very good at it. And I'm trying to be, but I'm not. Like, there's so many times where I should prioritise Beck and potentially don't. Not actively, but just like, for example, if I'm in a training block and that training block's 16 weeks, and I know I really need to just take a day off and go and do a date night, just decompress, go and have a few drinks, have a steak, sit in a nice bar, listen to some jazz, and just chill. But my brain won't do that. And here's, in some respect, it's the same. Yeah, I'm still learning, if I'm honest, because no one's a finished article, and I'm not broken, but more fractured than anyone would be willing to let on. So I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
That's class. But like the transparency is so important of that, because again, how many people sort of have the message but aren't willing to let the guard down and be like, actually, this is why I'm like this. I don't think a lot of people, I was saying to you before, like how many no's I get to every yes.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I might be stroking my own ego in saying this, but I think a lot of it is because when you sat in that chair and you've got these, you know, these cameras on you, and then you think about how many, well, not my podcast, but sometimes how many people see and watch and listen. It's exposing as fuck. Like you are burying your soul and who you are. And if you're full of shit, very likely these lights are bright enough to spot that out of you. So like just to listen and like the transparency and say shit like you're saying, it's boss to hear.
Do you know what I also think they're right? Who cares?
That, and
because I'm like,
that out there?
I'm like, my tribulations are what they are. Yours are what they are. Do you know what? If we were to put them all in a pile, guarantee you take your own back every time.
Yeah.
Because you go, fucking hell, little Jimmy had to deal with that. And I don't fancy that. And well, she went through that, and I'm all right. Actually, I'll take my little 5 minutes of pain. Like, why would you be scared to say? Because we're all going through stuff. But people just want this caricature of perfection. And it's not real.
And you bang on again. Like, I found with this is that you've got to have a sense of vulnerability to be like, actually, I'm working my arse off for this, and people don't actually give a fuck, but that's not going to stop me. That's not going to stop me doing this and trying to do what I'm doing and be there. And you're like, you have to sit down and think, how many people would have give up by now?
You know, Modern Wisdom, the first 5 years or something, was it, that he didn't have? Have you seen the chart?
He got more.
He got no views, and then he got more views in a year than he got in 6 years previous, or
more
something.
Subs. He got something like 3 million in a year.
Yeah, but before that had like 1,000, and it's like, what was the difference? Well, he just output volume. Yeah. Not caring.
And you mentioned there about, and something I did want to ask you, is like, how hard was it with your mindset and, you know, that fighter's background that you clearly have and you can tune into it, to start giving yourself rest days in these training blocks? You know, when you start prepping for like, so
Yeah.
we've alluded to it a couple of times. Explain what the backyard ultra is for people who might not know.
So a backyard ultra is a last man standing style event. There will be as many starters as many start, and you will run 6.7 kilometres on the hour every hour until everyone fannies out and rings the bell and says they're done. And that means that at 9 a.m, 10 a.m, 11 a.m, if you're not there when that bell rings, you're out. If you're not back when that bell rings, you are out. If you throw in the towel, you're out. And there's no holds barred, there's no finish line, there's no, well, I just need to do this, I just need to do one more lap.
Yeah.
Because as long as someone else is willing to keep going, you're going. And it's down to you whether you have the bottle for it or you don't. But the difficulty with those is that people don't potentially understand compared to other ultras is you're tied into a time. If I do a 100-mile ultra, I can stop for half an hour, have a coffee, rest my legs, have a little massage, change my socks, have a kip for an hour if I want. As long as I meet the cut-off, I can chill.
Yeah.
With the backyard, you start on the hour. So if you get in at 58, you're going at 11.
Yeah.
If you get in at 51, you've got 9 minutes to eat, go to the toilet, get changed, be fresh and go again. And that doesn't matter whether it's 9 a.m, 9 p.m, 2 a.m, you keep going. Or you throw in the towel and that's it. It couldn't be any simpler.
I know, wasn't it?
Sick.
Yeah.
Doing it again this year.
I bet he was like a pig in shit. Just literally talking to you for like 10 minutes now. Like, I can imagine you was like a pig in shit with it. I bet you just loved it.
Mate, it was class.
Yeah.
So I did 25 hours and then called it at 104 miles. And called it at that point, not because I was done, but because 3 weeks later I had the 13 valleys. So I essentially went into that race as a warm-up race for that one. And then after valleys, I was like, I wish I'd just gone until I broke.
Because that was carnage,
Because
that
I
valleys,
was,
wasn't it?
yeah, because I was like, oh, valleys was fun, but carnage. But red on, it was class.
Yeah.
The backyard was just boss. Because you're seeing people break.
Yeah.
And you're seeing people...
Fucking so the smile on your face when you said that was so sadistic.
You just see people break and you watch them and they go, and you hear them at the beginning going, oh, I'll never stop, I'll never give in, I don't give in, da-da-da-da-da. And then it goes dark or it rains. People get wet and cold and you see the smiles drop. And I'm sat there with my waterproof on looking around and thinking, they've not got it.
Yeah.
And I guess like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, and it's silent now, and you've been running for 19 hours. Just get a pin drop. Yeah. And all you hear is the occasional, oh, fuck me.
Yeah, here we go again.
There's another one.
Yeah.
There's another one. You see that field whittle and whittle and whittle and whittle. And then it got to like 10 a.m, 25 hours in. And I can feel this twinge in my calf on the back of my knee. And I'm thinking, oh, I've got another race. I've got 115 miles to run in 3 weeks. I was like, this is risky now.
Yeah.
So I basically pulled into the team. I was like, listen, I'm sound, but I don't know how long I've got till this pops. Do I bury it because I'm currently in 9th and just send it? Yeah. Because unless you airlift me out of that course, I'm going. Or do I play it safe? Yeah. I spoke to, obviously, the crew that we had, and they were all like, turn it in. You've got another one in 3 weeks. That I'd raised a decent amount of money for charity for, so I was like, right, okay. Spoke to the coach, message coach. The coach was like, yeah, just call it. So I was like, right. So I called it. And as soon as I got home, I was like, fucking call it.
Yeah, up at night, staring blank ceiling.
Yeah, it's like, come on. But yeah, it's mad.
So, I mean, you mentioned there about little niggles, little things coming through. When you put your body through so many miles like you do in these ultra events, which literally are there to be like, you can not break first. Yeah. What's like the toughest setback you've had with like your fitness?
To be honest, I'm very fortunate that, touch wood, I seem to be quite bulletproof. I don't get injuries really. I get annoyances. Like, for example, I have a strain in my right abductor that every time I go into a big prep flares up, but I just run through it, like it just hurts. Yeah. So, or like I get quite bad Achilles tendonitis on my right leg. So, it will strengthen over time. Like, yeah, there's little bits of rehab and strength work that you can add in and whatever, but like, it's just pain.
Yeah. Using it as fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mad as fuck, lad. I'm not going to sit here and say like I could even, like, I can play like rugby and I can grit through injury and shit like that, but it's just impressive to sort of, I mean, it's mad, don't get me wrong. It's literally like...
Box of frogs.
Yeah, but it's impressive to be able to turn that part of your brain off and just have that sort of ones and twos and keep going. But another thing that I was interested in is, have you developed this or do you think you just had it? Like, is there any mental strategies you've brought in or tried to implement, or do you think that this is just how you are wired?
Bit of both. I think I was rewired.
Yeah.
Because I was a soft kid, you know. Like, I was an emotional kid. Like, when I was young, I was, one, very shy. And growing up, I was like, I used to get nervous and I wouldn't be the first person, like family parties, to go to a buffet, or I'd hide, and like, I wasn't sociable, and I was an emotional kid. Like, when I was little, it's so weird when people hear this, because it's so not what I am now. But when I was little, I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to be liked. You know what I mean? And then, like, fuck it, who's asked? I had, my best mate got leukemia when we were in year 5.
Fuck.
And ended up dying anyway. And that was a bit like, that was a weird feeling.
Yeah.
And then that lowered things a bit. And my mum was, is a prescription drug addict and alcoholic. And like, used to just outright be like, wish I had a girl.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Or like, this was your fault, that was your fault. And don't get me wrong, my dad was class. Like told you before, I thought my dad was Batman. They weren't together anyway.
Yeah.
But that kind of flipped a switch where I was like, I just don't really feel the emotional spectrum, so I don't really care. Like, it's a bit of pain, so.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard, so. And I think that desensitized me to, like, giving a shit.
Yeah.
Because I was like, whatever. But my gran was an absolute gangster. My gran was like the sweetest woman. She wouldn't drink, she wouldn't swear. If you said, oh my God, she'd go, do I need to clip your ears?
Yeah.
And like, she was just the sweetest, most gangster woman you've ever met. And then I ended up losing her to lung cancer when I was like 18, I think. No, 17, I think. And that just turned off the emotion, I suppose. I just desensitized, just like became numb to it, and was like, so when it's like, it's not something I've always had, and it's not something that I would choose to have. I just kind of like got to a point where I was like, well, she was meant to look after me and said, sod ya.
Yeah.
And she did look after me, and I lost her anyway.
Yeah. And
my best mate there, I was kind of just like, so what? Like, life comes at you thick and fast, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just take it in your stride and crack on. And same with pain. Pain is just a signal that you're still alive, so crack on.
Thank you for sharing that, mate. You didn't have to, and I appreciate you sharing it, but
just a fact, isn't it?
You can only fucking, the deck you get dealt is the deck you get dealt in it, and you can only pretty much play that hand that you've got. And
but that's what I mean, is like, this is what I was saying to you before, because I think it's a good segue to go on to, is like, do you know what you were saying about you take your own problems back?
Yeah.
How many things in your life have been like, if I tell you, you go, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to me, but then it also gives you the thing you value most in yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, the independence that was required on the days that I was at my mum's house to just go about life on your own as a young person gives you the discipline to go, well, this needs doing anyway, so you may as well just do it.
Yeah.
Or like, for example, being able to be like, well, this happened at an early age, which caused a big emotional response. But now look at how well I am able to deal with emotional situations. Or like, for example, I never feel good enough. Yeah, but look what that's led you to achieve. So the connotation and the misconception is that people hear bad things and go, that bad thing is something I should feel empathetic for or sympathetic for. It's like, no, it's not. That bad thing is the perfect springboard for you to go, well, okay, how can we spin this as a positive? How can we take that and go, that's escape velocity to never have that issue again, or like, yeah, this thing happened that made me feel this way, but look what it's allowed me to achieve. Look at the positives that have come from it, because there is. I guarantee you now, all the things you like most in yourself will either be like, I don't know, you can work on your own because you were always alone as a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
the adversity.
Yeah, like
whatever you've been through.
It's just, people just see it the wrong way. People see it backwards. People think it's a bad thing. It's a good thing.
It's
like
fight or flight again, but in a completely different way. Like, do you lay down and die from it, or do you tune into it?
I think as well, the younger that happens, the less you dwell on it.
Yeah, I have a theory about rugby players, so it's a bit of a segue.
Is this what happens in the locker room?
Yeah.
We gotta go into that.
Yeah, we can't say that on the podcast. But like, young stud rugby players are normally the ones that have like the most fucked up shit. Yeah, like going on behind it, and like people just have like a switch they can pull, and like just seeing it through fighters and rugby players and stuff. You're always like, fucking hell, he can turn it on and start the him. Like, he's got a bit of bite about him, and then you find out what's going on in like his everyday life or his home life, and you're like, oh, it's an output. He's using that as something positive rather than, I mean, some lads weren't using it as positive, the fingers were up your nose and in your eyes and shit like that, but some lads who were making it and getting into academy from early ages, they were using it as positives. And that's something I only clicked onto when I went back to rugby when I was older. And like, I was soft as fuck. I am still soft as fuck. Like, I played rugby and like whacking people and getting whacked, but I never had bite about me when I was younger, because I've been fortunate enough to grow up in a house where, you know, there wasn't really any adversity, which has probably caused me more adversity later on when you come away from that. And like, being an only child, trying to get people to like you and shit like that, which is, you know, something you've touched on about getting people to, you know, be your pal. But yeah, segue from there. But when I went back and I was older and I had a weekend job, or I was in a relationship that wasn't going well, I could turn up on a Saturday and be like, I'm gonna smash you now. And like, I could turn that on and use it in a different way. And it's just mad for here, a different perspective of that, which might be a complete, absolute tangent that, you know, people don't relate to. But for me, I just connected with that a little bit, like a micro dose of what you went through. Well, it's relative.
And this is another thing I would say, is like, everything's relative. For example, the worst thing that's ever happened to you is still the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Whether objectively it's different or smaller or bigger than someone else's, it doesn't matter, because that will trigger the same volume of response than the thing that happened to the other person.
100%.
Like, it's just different. It's just different. And I think people lose the context of that and go, well, they had it harder than you do, or, well, I had it harder than you do.
Yeah.
It's like, so? It's still the worst thing that's happened to that person.
Yeah.
Which means that's the same opportunity as the opportunities of similar magnitude than whatever had happened to you.
Yeah, 100%. And that's something that definitely, that phrase and quote has come up on the podcast before, because we can almost, in another sense, be like, I should just be quiet and not actually talk about the shit I've been through, because it might not be of the magnitude of other people. But like I said, it's still the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah.
It's not your fault like that. What might be mediocre to someone else is massive to you. We can't control that. And I suppose that fits nicely with just living your life every day. You can't control what other people perceive of you or what they expect of you. The only thing you can control is the controllables, and that's you.
It's like, on a more positive note. It's like, people will go to me and go, I ran 5k at the weekend. I'm like, sick, class, belter, boss. And they'll go, it's nothing compared to what you ran. I'm like, no, fuck what I ran. You just hit a new milestone. Belter, let's celebrate you for a minute. Or like, someone go, I'm really proud, I just ran this. And I'm like, amazing, well done, you've smashed it. And they'll go, well, you ran that. I'm like, no, ignore that. Don't do that. You've just hit a milestone. You've just hit a PR. That's relative. Couldn't be happier, like, smashing it. But I think, again, it's that whole, like, oh, where am I in relation to so? Who cares?
Yeah.
You do you.
Comparing your results to someone who's not even in your race, it doesn't make sense, does it?
However, that can also be a form of drive. Yeah.
Like, well, you mentioned stuff like modern wisdom and things like that. Like, fucking galaxies away from where I am. But that doesn't mean you can't be inspired by them or use them as motivation. And
because they were here at one point.
Exactly. We've all been. If you're looking ahead of someone, or you're looking at someone who is ahead of you, should I say, the likelihood is they've been on your path. Yeah. They've just navigated it. You know, they've found a road. At the minute, you're just in the forest looking for fucking footprints that might have left.
Yeah. And also the thing with that is like, you now don't need to make their mistakes.
No.
Don't know how you learn them, because I don't know how you research the mistakes a podcaster made, but like, there's opportunity there for you to go, right, that person did this. How can I reverse engineer that, operationalize it into actionable steps? Do that on a day-by-day basis that will then mitigate the likelihood or probability that I'm going to occur or bump into those same issues. And how can I skate around that? And then how can I find a path forward? And that, for something like this, is a direct motorway to growth. Like, it's just due diligence.
A straight road, isn't it? And sort of going back to some points earlier and segueing in from that, you do a lot, like 2 sessions a week sometimes. You've got your training for your job that you're doing, your YouTubing, X, Y, and Z. If it can be done, you're probably doing it. Have you had to learn how to say no and prioritise?
Yeah. Like, I've got this mate, right? I'm going to give him a little shout out here, because he's 19 and he's a savage. No, he might be 20 now. He's young and he's a savage. His name's Blake, right? This kid messages me twice a week saying, I've got this race, are we doing it? I've got this event, are we doing it? I've got this comp, are we doing it? And every time I'm like, nope. And it's because, like, it's too easy to just get giddy. And that can be anything. That can be like, someone could come to you on LinkedIn and say, I know you're working there, but we can give you this. It's like, right, what's the trade-off? Because you're coming to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why? So you've just got to, you've got to prioritise what actually matters, what actually aligns with what you want and doesn't just look shiny. Like, reverse engineer it and just...
The tunnel vision.
Yeah, tunnel vision. Just go.
And talking about things that are shiny, High Rocks is your bread and butter, innit? But some people...
Nah, I hate it.
Well, you hate it, but you get first flag, so you're good at it. But, like, it is a bit of a shiny thing for people, innit? At the minute, it's like, it's the new CrossFit, innit? I think being a CrossFitter back in the day, I'm a bit like upset that it's lost its limelight. But I imagine there's a lot of noise in that space.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of twerps in that space. There just is. Yeah. There's just like... High Rocks is a brilliant modality and it's very difficult. And to get to that level is like, it's hard. It's graft. The problem is there's 2 types of people that do it. Fantastic athletes and people that go to Instagram to say they're fantastic athletes. And they're not the same thing. Like, I know a lad, Sam Knowles, who's just a genetic freak, right? He's just the most fucking handsome bastard you've ever met, right? But he's dead quiet, doesn't post anything on social media, doesn't have any followers. I don't think that he doesn't actually know in person. And does 2 sessions a day every day. And then he'll go out and do a 61-minute pro. And he won't say anything, he'll just go and do it. And where we train at FaZe in Manchester, there's about 10 of them. And they're all miles ahead of me. And I spend me Sunday just chasing them and just like going, I'm never going to catch you. And then there's...
A product of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
And then there'll be some loser on Instagram being like, I'll tell you how to do this, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. But then they'll go out on the weekend and get bladders. And I'm like, stop trying to say you are something that you're not. And High Rocks is full of that. And I think that's why I get so much hate, because the modality in the sport is brilliant and the people who are really good at it are really hard working and they're athletes. But then there's people in there who are just trying to do it.
Muddy the water.
And they're just trying to do it like the same way someone will say, I'm going to try and do a half marathon. And they're fine, they're amazing, they're great to have in the sport. Then there's the grey zone where the twerps are. And they're the people that give it a bad name. And like, it's just a shame. It's just a shame.
So what I'm interested in, especially with you and, you know, driven, sort of, you know what you want. You're doing High Rocks this weekend, aiming for the sub 60.
Yep.
When do you decide that's done, what's next? So when do you like, is like sub 60 the goal and you're like, right, High Rocks, got that one in the bag? What's
I
next?
think so. I think for me, I've noticed with high rocks, I fell into the trap of the shiny.
Yeah.
Like I'm a hybrid athlete, not a high rocks athlete. Is
Yeah.
a conversation that I've had recently. I like lifting heavy things. I like running fast. I like running far, and I like being fit. I want someone to come to me and say, "We've got this ridiculous endurance challenge. We know you'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
Or do you want to crack?" And I'll go, "Yeah, sound." We've got a high rocks ticket on Saturday. Do you want it? And I'll go, "Yeah, sound." And I'll do okay. And we've got a CrossFit comp. Let's leg the gymnastics off. But like, we're going to do heavy cleans into burpee box jump overs, into toes to bar. Can you do it? Yeah, sound. Right, there's a powerlifting comp at the weekend. Can you do that? Yeah, sound. Right, we decided that we're going to run across France. Do you want to just run 300 miles? Yeah, sound. Whereas for me, I think high rocks training was something that I struggle to motivate myself to do intrinsically. It's very much like I like being good at it, not necessarily that it aligns with me. So I think after this weekend, well, after Worlds in June,
Yeah.
that might get put in a box, or I'll get giddy. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. See
We'll
if any of them flags come on with you, and we'll see what
See what
goes.
changes,
Yeah. Put you on spot here a little bit.
Go on.
Of all them things you just mentioned there, like weightlifting, CrossFit,
Yep.
high rocks, powerlifting, one aspect go. Which one are you getting rid of?
High rocks is going
I didn't expect that. Yeah,
straight away.
straight away.
High rocks is going. I hate running, so that's getting legged off.
That is absolutely mental. But I rate it because you've just been talking about doing a fucking backyard ultra where you ran for 25 hours and you're like, fucking hate running.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But Beck says this to me. She was like, "Why do you keep doing run races?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "The only time I ever see you happy is when you're lifting heavy barbells." I'm like, "Because I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it, and I don't like that. That doesn't sit well. I'm not good at weightlifting, so I'm going to get good at weightlifting because I don't like not being good at things.
Yeah.
I like skill acquisition's massive for me, and yeah, I just keep ticking boxes.
Mad. So, high rocks is out the bag. What is anything planned for after it? Have you got your eye on anything? I think I've got a little inclination to what it might be, but have you got anything planned?
Let's play the guessing game, Jackie boy. Come on.
I've seen that that Catalyst Athletics book you've been reading and seeing the weightlifting book go.
I'm looking for one. I want to try and find a comp.
Yeah.
But because I've got to put my twist on it, I think I'm going to slot it either just before or just after a 100-mile ultra.
Yeah.
I'm going to superset them.
the worst superset I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I'm going to do an absolute endurance event into an absolute strength event.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah, Matt Fraser, eat your heart out, lad.
Yeah. So let's get your trail shoes on, Matt. Let's go up there.
We'll see what we can do. So, a little spoiler on both ends there. We potentially know when the high rocks career's over and when the weightlifting one and the 100-mile ultra's coming in.
Yeah.
But I reckon if someone give you a call on a Thursday and was like, "Listen, lad, I need a partner on a Saturday,"
I'm doing it.
Yeah, you'd be game. Even if you was 96 kilos for a weightlifting comp, I reckon you'd be game for it.
I'd give it a go.
The next pending Lasher.
Jesus
what a
Christ.
monster.
That's a big boy,
That's a big boy, a monster of a boy. And that Bulgarian lad, what's he called?
Carlos Nassar.
Oh, mate, so
222 kilos. Yeah. 220 kilo clean and jerk at like 90 something body weight. Insane.
Weightlifters are some of like the freakiest human beings I've ever seen.
Have you ever seen Lee Dayan? He's got the biggest shoulders you've ever seen on an 81 kilo man. Little Chinese fella, and he's got shoulders the size of my legs, and I'm just like, right, sound.
Yeah.
And he's 70, he's 81, but he was 77, and he just sat underneath a 181 kilo snatch, and I was like,
that's it. That you.
I struggle to that's a
deadlift that.
Yeah, that's a heavy triple on deadlifts. That's like. I'm pushing it.
I'm 20 kilos heavier than you, and I'd struggle to deadlift that for 4, and you are literally picking it off the floor,
throwing it over your head,
and getting under it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Chinese in weightlifting are some of
the juiciest people you've ever seen.
So much juice. There's so much juice in weightlifting. There's got to be, but like, it's that crisper shit, mate.
I don't care, mate.
I don't know. It's still this is what I always say. I'm like, if you're in a sport where it's like martial arts and combat and things like rugby, where if you are juiced up to the gills and you're going to actually cause someone some life-altering issues, But if you're in like, it's like these enhanced games in the Olympics.
I'm here
like,
for it.
fucking juice them up to the girls, lad, and let's see how fast we can get on, because it's just interesting. But they still have to put the work in.
Yeah.
I think there's this misconception that with some people where it's like, oh, you just jab something in your ass and then you're a super athlete.
People have watched Batman one too many times,
Yeah.
saw Bane and went, that's how it works.
That's me, that.
No.
No, there's so much like
2027, Matt Shep's getting on the juice.
TRT pending. Yeah. But yeah, it's so impressive weightlifting. But you go back and look at like the history of like the Bulgarian squad, and it was like the diet when they was on like 80 pills a week.
Yeah.
And you're like, that is insane.
The thing is though, so if you ever heard of survivorship bias?
No?
Right. Survivorship bias is fantastic in all aspects of life, but it applies directly to 80s and 90s Bulgarian weightlifting. What survivorship bias is that I'll take you through the Bulgarian weightlifting routine, and I will say you're going to max out clean and jerk first thing in the morning. Then you're going to max out snatch. Then you're going to max out back squats. I'm going to get 1,000 people to do that. And 998 of them will break, but 2 of them will be champions.
Yeah.
Survivorship bias is that. So, for example, I will, you'll look at Joe Rogan and you'll go, wow, what a life. How easy does he make that look?
Yeah.
But 1 million people have tried, and 999,998 have failed.
Yeah.
But Joe Rogan survived the throttling. That's survivorship bias. It's that so few will survive, but then everyone will look and go, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you couldn't act that. So like people will look at me, and people do it, right, fitness again, Instagram, social media, bollocks. Because people will see me do 9 sessions a week, 10 sessions a week, and they'll go, right, that's what I need to do. No, it's not. No, it's not Sandra, who's never ran a 5K. No, you don't. You will break, and you'll break in 5 minutes. But because Lucy Davis does it, because I do it, because obviously I'm not even in that league, but you know what I mean? Because so many people do it now, they go, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you won't survive that protocol. It's taken me nearly a decade of fitness, all through me adaptive years, to be able to withstand that volume. Like I can run a half marathon first thing in the morning, go and hit legs in the evening, and my squat performance won't be any different. You can't do that.
No.
I can't go into a rugby pitch, get absolutely swanton bombed by some 110 kilo grok, and then get up and do it again the next day.
Yeah.
But someone else can, because that's the adaptive process they've gone through.
Yeah.
And survivorship bias is rife in life, because then you'll get a manager who's go, well, I'm trying to help you get to my position. Here's what I did. It's like, no, it's not. That's not. There's no individuality in that.
Yeah, you can't. I think you can learn from someone else's process, but you can't mirror it. You know what I mean? Like you can't copy it like for like, because they are them and you are you. And I've definitely been guilty of that.
Coaches have that problem a lot.
Yeah, and they're trying to not inflict, but impose them into others when it's a circle peg, square hole.
There's also confirmation bias in that.
Yeah.
Well, if it works for them, it proves that what I did was right.
Yeah.
No. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
Life doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
The same way I approach it, like before, the way I approach things is very straight to the point, no bullshit. You can tell from this conversation, there's no like, there is no facade, there's no dramatization, there's no plea for
Black and
anything.
white.
Yeah, that won't work for everyone, and that's why I only have a handful of mates.
It wouldn't
work
for me. Do you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't. Like I'd like to think I've got the mindset to go and punish myself, but I know I wouldn't survive doing it over and over again. Like there's certain areas where I could, like rugby, I could probably turn up and play 2 games a week. I mean, I'd moan about it. Don't get me wrong. You definitely know I've done it. Yeah. But like, it's like that. Mum didn't raise no quitter, but she raised a moaner, and I will stand there and tell you how much I'm in pain, but I'll do it. Yeah. So like, and it's just this is what it's about. It's about showing people that, what worked for you might not necessarily work for them, but there's elements of it that they can try. Yeah. So before we wrap it up, because I reckon we could go for about 4 hours, me and you, just doing this, but what I always ask the guests is, if there's 3 habits that you'd recommend to the everyday people, what would they be and why?
Never apologise unless you mean it. Get up earlier. Everyone says it. Trust me, get up earlier. This isn't a habit. don't ever let anyone or anything change what you're doing or what you intend to do. Focus on alignment. If something aligns with your personality, if something aligns with the vision that you have for your life, fucking run through every door, every wall, every mountain, no matter what gets put in your way. Laugh and go straight through it. Don't go over it or around it, because trust me, as soon as you start to do that, any anxiety, any fear, any insecurity will crumble into the abyss. Because when you're unrelenting, ruthless, and consistent, there isn't something that you can't do. And I will die on that hill.
Love that. So the hard one now for you, which I think this will be the tricky one. If there's one habit you could reintroduce or introduce to your life that you don't already do or have done in the past, what would that be and why?
Block out a night a week just to give Beck whatever she wants. Whether that be watch telly, go for a date night, do whatever.
Mate, she's got that on video now.
Oh, no.
That's going to be looped. That, you know, when you message her and say I can't do that tonight, she's gonna snippet that and be like, "This on you." But that's a very good one, and I like that. This is, I think, the point of like having this chat is there's a lot of reflection in this. It's not just grind mentality, stay hard, motherfucker, bang bang. There's elements of that.
Well.
Yeah, but it's not just like it's not just fuck it at all costs. It's fuck it, but try and be a little bit more smart about it than just...
The only thing that will ever be more valuable to me than my own success is making sure that the few people that are genuinely there for anything I do never want for anything. And I wouldn't be sat in this chair if it wasn't for that girl, so
yeah,
it's the way it is.
Fair play, mate. And I don't think a lot of people would, like, one, have the reflection to even know it, and two, have the balls for it, just be so open and say it. Thank you, Matt. It's been class. Like I said when we was walking in, I had no idea where we'd go with it, but I've enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah, I've been everywhere, and it's been class. And we could probably definitely do another 2 hours, which we might do in the future when you do some more of these mad events. But before we go, let people know where they can find you and where they can subscribe to that YouTube channel of yours.
YouTube channel is mattsheperd.fit, and that's SHEPHERD, because everyone spells it wrong. Instagram's the same. Don't use TikTok because I'm an adult.
Oh, you're going to boil so much piss.
I know. And that'll do.
Yeah, that's everything. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Nice one.